So this is your guard. You can move your guard with the right joystick, and pretty much it allows you where to attack, where to block, anything pretty much, just to move it with the right joystick. Light attacks are very quick, but they don't deal much damage, and you have to be careful when you throw it because it gives you a vulnerability of being light parried. Heavy attacks are slower, but they deal more damage, and it's easier to parry. Dodging is where you would move your left joystick and press X at the same time. You can dodge in any direction, left, right, backwards. You can even dodge forward, but dodging forward isn't very useful when you're trying to avoid an attack. There are certain characters that can deflect attacks, but not all of them can, so just be aware of that situation if you ever get into it. Guard break is where you just pretty much break the guard of your opponent, and pretty much how to accomplish it is you just get close to your opponent and then press square, and it leaves them vulnerable for heavy attacks, light attacks. Just nothing too slow, but it doesn't have to be fast. Blocking is where you move your guard in front of the position of where your opponent is going to attack you, just like how it shows here. But you have to be careful because even though you are blocking, you still take damage. Not as much, but just a little bit, so be aware. Parrying is when you time a heavy attack with your opponent's attack, and pretty much after the parry leaves them vulnerable for a light attack, so you just press R2. Light parrying is when you just parry the light attack of your opponent and it leaves them vulnerable for any attack. Just make sure it's not too long, but it's very rewarding. But keep in mind it could also happen to you, so think of that when you throw a light attack. Zone attack is can be a wide attack, or it can be a barrage of attacks depending on the hero that you're using. Unblockable attack is pretty much an attack that cannot be blocked. It has to be parried, sometimes even dodged. And depending on the hero that you're using, there's build-ups to it, so be aware of that. Superior block is where instead of pressing R2 to time with your opponent's attack, you're pressing R1, but not all of them can do it. A wall splatter is pretty much when you guard break your opponent and you just throw them against the wall. That leaves them vulnerable for pretty much your hero's slowest attack, but not too slow either, so just be aware. But it does leave them vulnerable for a good time, and it's very useful. Now, from this video, from to the end, I put together every hero's advances and counterattacks that are considered light attacks. Hopefully I got all of them, but I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure I at least got most of them for each character. And just to be, you know, aware of when you're thinking about counterattacking, if your opponent does parry it, it will be considered as a light attack. So before you decide to counterattack your opponent, make sure that you're timing it very well and they will not parry it, because if they do, you're vulnerable for pretty much their strongest attack. And this is just throughout the whole video, so it's just pretty much every single, or well, I tried to get every single hero's counterattack and advances. So just be aware that you're not completely safe with the attacks that you do, because you have to be careful. Even with light attacks, you have to be careful on where you attack, when you attack. Pretty much just go in with a strategy and a plan. Sorry. Because everything that you do could have a consequence. Whether it's a counterattack, a light attack, even when you're light spamming. If you play this game more and more, you'll see a lot of light spammers. And well, that's pretty much it. Hopefully in the future I can make better videos, but this is pretty much the basics for Honor. But if I would recommend, I recommend that you do not give up and give up on the game in like the first couple of weeks or whatever. I recommend that if you really want to get good at it, take your time, use only one hero, learn that hero, and then along the way gain more experience. But that would be my recommendation. That's pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching.